Are you selling your home but you're confused about where to start, or not really sure if you should do your repairs or just leave it as is? Or what about timing? How long does it take for me to get my home ready for sale? And what is the typical time period until I receive an offer? Well, by the end of this video here, you're gonna have a deep understanding about the entire selling process from beginning all the way to the end. And I'm gonna also include the timing between all the major milestones of the process, so you won't be left confused or stressed out. And it doesn't matter if you're selling a condo, townhome, or a single family house. I'm gonna go through the entire process with you guys no matter what type of property you have. Now, I'm gonna have this flow chart for you guys to download, and it's gonna be in the description down below. So hopefully you'll find this valuable, and if you do, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to all so you know when our videos will be coming out. And we're trying to smash over 50 likes, so if you think we deserve it, help us out with our cause. My name is Felix Chan, Calgary Realtor with the LiveInnerCity Real Estate Team, and on this channel we bring you transparent and valuable mortgage and real estate advice. And if you have any questions about anything that we cover, throw it in the comments below. We've actually started replying to you guys in video form, so check it out. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm just gonna share my screen here, okay? And now there's 7 major steps of the home selling process. Now, assuming that we've had our initial conversation on the phone, this is when we sit down and actually talk to you, okay? This takes, oh, by the way, this is how we do it. I'm sure there's a lot of different ways that other realtors do it here in Alberta, but overall, this is kind of like the general guidelines for timing and things like that, okay? So the first step is we sit down for a seller strategy session. This is usually about an hour, and in this session, we go through a very important elements about you and your situation. So we ask you, why is it important for you to sell your home? Why is it a priority? We also talk about what kind of situations you could be in or you want to be in order to achieve your real estate goals. We also talk about, like who you work with matters. It is important. So this is where we talk a little bit about our team, our philosophy, and how we would handle the entire process from start to end. There's also some real estate principles that we want to share with you. Of course, this is one of the biggest ones, is the costs of selling. You have to know your costs, and it is our job to let you know what those costs are so you know what you're gonna net from the sale of your home. We're also gonna talk about the market overall and how the market impacts the sale of your home. Of course, we talk about our marketing strategies. For those that are new to our channel, check out our YouTube channel. We put our listings in our YouTube channel. And guys, remember, when you hire a realtor, you're hiring them to market your home, okay? And so a lot of realtors, they're doing videos, but there's a big difference between doing videos and creating videos versus getting them seen. And if you go to YouTube and you type in, Calgary condo for sale, Calgary real estate for sale, Calgary housing market, all of our videos rank, and we do the same thing for our listings so that we can get many more eyeballs on your property than just someone creating a video for you guys. And of course, we always let you know what the next steps are. So when you understand what the next steps are, people to call, documents to sign, it takes a lot of the stress out of the home selling process, because now you know what to expect, okay? So from the time that we sit down, it takes about 3 days or so, 1 to 3 days for people to typically make up their minds, and they usually do hire us. And so we would move on to the second stage of the selling process, which is preparation. Now, at this stage, that's when we will review and sign the listing documents, okay? And once the listing documents are signed, it triggers the next steps. Nothing happens until those listing documents are signed, because that's the commitment between the two parties. So from there, we set up the for sale sign right away. It's important to get that for sale sign and get exposure for your property. And I've been able to sell properties before it even hit the market, just from this simple strategy. So we put the for sale sign and we onboard you with what you can expect and the details of having your property up for sale. So things like we use a showing time app to manage all the showings. This is where you can authorize them. If you own a single family home, we ask for a real property report. It must be current. We ask you for the keys and alarm code if there is one. If you own a condo, then we'll be asking you for condo documents. Any open houses that we'll be doing, obviously it's pandemic, so we don't do that. And of course, if the property has a tenant in there, we get the tenant's information. Now, we act as a third party on your behalf if you don't want to deal with the tenant. So we take care of everything from onboarding the tenant. We let them know about the showings and all those things. Okay. Once we do that, then there are responsibilities that you and I have to do. For us, a lot of our marketing comes from even before we go live and hit the market. We have an entire system for pre-marketing your property that goes out to hundreds of realtors before it hits the market. And we also start planning our videos or our video for your property. For you, we would have discussed any repairs and improvements that you may or may not do. Now, guys, there's a big difference between a repair and an improvement. A repair is something that you have to fix because it's broken. An improvement is an upgrade. So you don't have to fix anything, you're just making it nicer. A lot of people get those two things confused. When you do a repair, you can't expect money back from your repair because it shouldn't be broken to begin with. However, an improvement will actually add value to it. For example, if you update the kitchen or the flooring or something like that. This is where you declutter, depersonalize, and make sure you do a really good job cleaning the home. Once we have an idea of how much declutter and depersonalizing, cleaning, and repairs that you have to do, we'll have an idea of when the expected list date's going to be. Okay? When I know that, then I tee up my professional photographer and my measurements guy. And then we also, if we have time before we go live, most of the time we don't, we will shoot our video. Okay? So that includes the second step. Now, it usually takes about 1 to 2 weeks until people are usually ready to list a property for sale. And this is where we go to the third phase, which is the live cycle. Meaning we post it online and it is now for sale on realtor.ca among a few different marketing channels that we have. This is typically when we release the video. And the biggest complaint that a lot of sellers have about realtors is once they list the property, they don't hear from them. That is a huge disservice. And so knowing that, we have systems and processes in place where you're gonna hear from us every single week. We have to be proactive when we have a listing for sale because we have to adjust to the market. If the market is adjusting either up or down, we wanna make sure we're there to make those adjustments. And so we will let you know about showing feedback. Of course, not all realtors will give us feedback if they're not interested in the property. Any new competitors that come to the market and any properties that are similar to our property, that's sold, because those sold properties is an indication of what the market is doing. And of course, we have monthly Calgary real estate updates, so you'll be getting that at when the timing is right for the month. okay? So when we're live, it usually takes about up to about 3 months to receive an offer, assuming that we are listed at realistic market expectations. Once we receive the offer, then there are some key elements that we have to negotiate. Mostly it's price. We have to determine the possession date, which is usually about 30 to 45 days. They'll be offering us a deposit. Typically with a condo, $5,000. If it's a single family home or a higher priced home, $10,000 is sufficient. I'll typically ask for a little bit more if the possession date is a little bit longer than 30 to 45 days, or if the price of the home is, say, more than, $450,000, $500,000. Now there's going to be some conditions with the offer, which I will go through with you at the next slide, or the next phase. There's going to be some terms in there. Most often, and I do this for my purchase contracts as well, is buyers will say this: seller to allow the buyer a walkthrough within 24 hours of possession. The reason why they want to do this is just to make sure that the house is not trashed and it's in the same condition when they last saw it. And also the offer expiry time, it's usually the same day. So between the offer and accepting an offer, it usually takes about a day or maximum 24 hours to negotiate and come to an agreement. So when that happens, this is considered the conditional period, meaning your home is conditionally sold. When that happens, we have to fill out a document called the conditional disclosure document, and this shows to the public and realtors how the status of our listing. You have options of taking it completely off the market so that it doesn't show up on realtor.ca and we're not allowing showings, or we can keep it as active where the public and realtors will be able to see and show the property, but we make some disclosures about it being conditionally sold. The conditions. This is where the buyer has either 2 or 3 conditions. If this is a condo that you're selling, they're gonna have a condition for condo doc review, okay? This is where we provide them the condo documents and they take it to a professional and review all the documents. And they have to get mortgage financing, and this is where they will be doing the home inspection. So again, providing condo documents to the buyer. I mean, there's no home that's perfect. Usually there is something that comes up in the inspection, either some repairs or something like that, or something comes up, either we can fix it, well, we as in you, the seller, or you can deduct those funds off of the purchase price. It depends on the situation. Whatever the case may be, we will have to fill out an amendment for the changes, okay? After we've received the amendment, we typically get the waiver. Now, the waiver basically means that the buyers have done their due diligence, meaning they've done their condo doc review, they have their mortgage financing, and they've done their home inspection, and they're satisfied with all those conditions, and they want to move forward with the deal. When they submit that, and this conditional period is usually between 7 to 10 business days. When they submit the waiver to us, then the house is considered sold. And it is a firm offer now, okay? So when that happens, there's a few things that we have to do. We will send you the next steps email, which are the things that you have to do, as well as the purchase documents for the sale. You are gonna have to provide the lawyer info, and don't worry if you don't know a lawyer, we have all the contacts in the industry, so we can definitely recommend you. And this is where you can start canceling, your services, and you can start changing your address with your vendors. Now, you do have to take care of your contractual obligations. Most of the time, these are related to inspection issues. And then about a week or so before possession, you'll typically see your lawyer. And at this time, your lawyer is gonna ask you to bring in some identification, and you're gonna be signing some of the last documents there. And then right before possession, you're gonna move, and of course, I always recommend my people to clean the home. So from the time when it is a firm deal to possession, it's usually between 10 to 30 days, okay? So on possession day, it usually happens as per the contract by noon. And what happens is your lawyer, the seller's lawyer, will, when they receive the funds from the buyers and confirm that everything is all good, then they're gonna call me, the listing agent, and let me know that keys are releasable. At that point, we know that you got paid, and it is now okay for me to call the buyer's realtor and also let them know that the keys are releasable. At that point, they can go to the house, access the lockbox, and turn the keys over to the buyer. And then of course, you get paid. So that's really the entire selling process. I'm gonna have this as a downloadable for you guys in the description down below. And this will really give you guys clarity. Again, if you guys have any questions about this, throw it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, make sure you hit subscribe and turn your notifications on to all so you don't miss out on this important info. And of course, if you think we deserve a like, we're trying to hit 50, smash that like button. We would appreciate all the love from you guys, and looking forward to chatting with you guys in the comments. My name is Felix Chan with the LiveInnerCity Real Estate Team, helping you keep real estate simple, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.